ahead and get the first PvP of this season on the way. There's going to be plenty of PvPs because this is the European server and we have a lot of Protoss players in Europe. In the top right side of Hardwire, we're looking at the main base of our Ukrainian Protoss player. It is Hellraiser.
And on the bottom left-hand side for Storm, it is the Polish player Gerald. The Polish Batman.
He does indeed have a very nice mustache, though. I would kind of wow over that as well, but the room first, mustache second.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like the mustache is getting to where you can actually like do the little thing where you curl it up a little bit, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's not French though. Like he's Polish. I feel like that's not really a thing in Poland. Oh, we're gonna get a fake cannon rush. I love it. I would overreact so bad to this, mate. I'd pull 7 probes right now and I'd be shaking in my boots.
Yeah, especially because of his reputation. I love that he is playing to his reputation, but Gerald's not going to overreact.
Yes,
He's gonna get the scout on the other side. He is
a little bit. Yeah, not a crazy overreaction, but he did build the forge and not the gateway, so
that
he
is
did
huge,
kind of
actually,
take the bait.
Yeah, no, I'd say yeah. I think you're trying to protect my my ego a little bit, but no, you're right. That's a huge overreaction, right? Like building and canceling the forge. I had not noticed that, so. Yeah, good advantage for Hellraiser, again, playing off of his reputation, which is a very smart thing to do.
Cannon rushes are so good on some of these maps, man. And like they don't hide it anymore. In the old days, the cannon rush was all about, I hope they don't scout it, and then the cannon goes up. And now they're just like, what's up? Here's my first probe, here's my second probe, here's 1 pylon, here's 2 pylon. And before you know it, there are like 17 little spots to worry about, especially behind the mineral lines on maps like Glittering Ashes, Pride of Altaris, this one as well, Curious Minds. There are so many of these little choke points where you can easily get a cannon up and then protect it with 2 extra pylons. And if that first cannon is up in range of your mineral line, well, it's curtains at that point.
Most definitely. Gerald's going to get a good scout onto the very early Stargate here from Hellraiser, as he's going to react with a Twilight Archives. Probably going to go for a quick blink. But yeah, I mean, do you go Oracle if you're Hellraiser still?
Yeah, I think you kind of have to. Going straight up Phoenix like this, you have to be a crazy boy to do that, Cats. Goblin would do it. Hellraiser is definitely someone who's good with the Phoenixes, but I am expecting Oracles here. This is kind of a standard interaction where one person goes Blink immediately, the other one goes Oracles into Blink. And you may think that it's not that great if the Oracles don't deal any damage, but the upside of having Oracles out on the map is that you're often the one that can go up to 3 bases quicker, because your opponent can't really attack you unless they've actually killed the Oracles. You can't really move out when you leave 2 Stalkers in the main, 2 Stalkers in the natural. So this is a pretty standard interaction, but it's actually not too bad in general for the Stargate player.
Yeah, gotta keep that Oracle alive. It's just gonna be 1 for now. Gerald, or Hellraiser rather, was good enough to kill the probe of Gerald before starting his first unit. So, you know, Hellraiser will probably go to the other side, and Gerald doesn't know for sure that it's an Oracle, but he would most likely suspect it. So he's probably going to be ready here. The first probe is going to be exposed at the wall looking for adepts. There is a shield battery here that's going to start getting drained of its energy. So this should give plenty of room for Gerald to react, and Gerald knows all about plenty of room.
Yes, indeed. To wipe in a couple of Stalkers, and he's safe. The Stalkers in the bottom side will get a couple of shots up. Of course, by the way, something we haven't even mentioned yet is that we do have a B stream like we have every season. Plenty of good matches. Well, we showed it in one graphic in the beginning of the day, but there's always a lot of good matches going on over at ESO_SC2B as well, so make sure to keep that out. I'll keep it open if you have 2 monitors. Hellraiser also misread a little bit what was happening because Gerald sent his first Stalkers to the other side of the map. Hellraiser actually queued up a Void Ray. That Void Ray was 65-70% done. And at one point I was like, maybe he's going to do that Void Ray Immortal thing into carriers that he's done in the past. But then when he realized that Gerald is not attacking him and is just expanding, he canceled the Void Ray and still queued up a second Oracle, but it's very late.
It's going to be very late, and Gerald has not let his guard. In fact, he has reinforced this position. 1 Stalker does move away, and that might be enough for these Oracles to actually get some... No, another one gets swarped in its place, so it's going to be difficult to get in here.
Blink is done, Blink is done. Whew. If he would have gone a little bit deeper there, I think that one Oracle that already lost some of its real HP would be in trouble. And Gerald is now setting up the sandwich, hoping that these Oracles would just carelessly fly towards the top side. Then he could actually intercept them. For now, they are stuck. That's not a bad thing because you kind of just want them to be here, so your opponent will stay at home. But Gerald is going up to 3 bases quicker than Hellraiser, though. He almost missed the revelation.
Yeah, Gerald does spot the Oracles on their position as well, but he's just going to take that airspace. And now with the triangle third going up, it's going to make it a little bit more effective for those Oracles in the long run, right? Than if he took the non-triangle third, because those Oracles now have 2 points of entry into the main. And the third, he's going to try once again to check into the main. And there's actually not those stalkers anymore, not in position anyway, but now here they are. Blink forward will take down one of the Oracles. And that frees up those stalkers to move out a little bit more freely, as the shield battery should be plenty to give him any forward warning.
Yeah, this is bad for Hellraiser because his blink was not quite done yet, so he ends up losing a stalker. Gerald with a little bit of an F2 there, though, because he had 2 observers out on the map. One observer was halfway through the map, then it turned around when he saw that Hellraiser was trying to pressure the third. But the whole idea there for Hellraiser is that he's able to pressure with his entire army, while Gerald needs to keep a lot of stalkers in the main, in the natural. The moment you lose one of those Oracles, that doesn't quite work out anymore. And it just seems that Gerald is getting the best of Hellraiser here in game 1. It's a lot of little interactions so far, but they're all going Gerald's way. And I think Hellraiser is in a bit of trouble. His robo is so much later than the robo of Gerald too.
Yeah, Gerald's gonna go and spot this third as it goes up. He's gonna know that he has the advantage on that front, but he's still gonna look to apply pressure as the pylon's not done here. That means no shield battery either.
By the way,
just a poke on forward for now.
We're going to get 2 adepts shading into the natural, and this is always a very lovely play in PvP as well, because you need to deal with those adepts with most of your units, and that opens the door for the stalkers of your opponent to be aggressive again. Really good play by Gerald. He's just hitting Hellraiser with all the 1-2 combos at this point, and where Hellraiser tried to make some multi-prong happen and it didn't quite work out, all of this is working out in a fantastic manner for Gerald.
Yeah, no probe to block those adepts from going into the main. There's going to be enough stalkers here now for Hellraiser, but not before losing an additional 3 or so probes to make it 4 in the main, to make it a total of 8. So very successful move out there for Gerald, and it all starts with the snowball that you were talking about. Once one of those Oracles goes down, they don't represent any kill potential onto the probes by themselves because the shield battery out-heals them. And Gerald, I mean, capitalizing right away. Supplies are kind of even. What do you attribute this to?
Just that Gerald has a few more workers and has spent way more money on production facilities.
Yeah.
He's got 6 extra gateways going up. So that's a 900 mineral investment that he's already made. Hellraiser has not made that one yet. Hellraiser is trying to go up to 4 bases now, by the way. So I guess we're going to play very low gas style and just going to spam Zealots and Stalkers for a while. But I think the moment that all those gateways finish up for Gerald, it's going to be super difficult for Hellraiser to hang in there.
Yeah, I think if Gerald sees this 4th, he just pushes on the gas pedal and he should know that he can kill.
Sorry, there was a misrallied Immortal in the center of the map. Gerald's Immortal almost ran into the Blinky Boys of Hellraiser, but at the final moment it turned around. That would have been a pretty pricey donation.
It would have been indeed. And it looks like Gerald's going to take his own 4th. So that is kind of good for Hellraiser in a way, right? If Gerald is looking into this and into trying to take the advantage further in terms of economy, then that could bode well for a Gerald that has taken basically the risk of taking a 4th that he couldn't defend if Gerald had just pushed on the gas pedal like I was saying.
Yeah, but he did wait for that prism, and that prism is out now. So I think Gerald will still just go for it. I think having that Nexus there is just one of these moments where if you have the extra minerals, you may as well just drop it down so you're not ultra committed and you're not more all in than you want to be. One pro pulls the entire army out of position. It kind of opens the door for Gerald to get a very good fight away from the batteries, because look at where the army is right now, Hellraiser. It's not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, beautiful. Very decisive blink forward from Gerald. However, the Immortal does lag behind and does get taken down. So now Hellraiser has a decent position if he can get enough warpins to maybe create some sort of a flank. But with these Zealots coming in, the Oracle does a great job, as our Observer also does a great job of catching the action on the other side of the map. A very adventurous blink forward there from Hellraiser. I'm not sure that was the play, but with his reinforcing Zealots, maybe he feels like he has enough. There's still reinforcements from Hellraiser about to flank him, and that's going to be enough. Gerald takes the game, and yeah, a little bit rough.
That I don't think had to play out like that. if the entire army is not at the 4th base trying to kill one probe. If we would have just wiped in a single Zealot, right-click that Zealot on the probe, but then keep the Stalkers kind of in between, so you have a better idea where your opponent is at. Because if he takes that fight near the 2 shield batteries, there's no way that Gerald can break him there. Then, of course, Gerald could turn around and walk up the rim towards the 4th. But then Gerald also gives the potential of Hellraiser of warping in a bunch of Zealots at the 4th. And then Hellraiser automatically has the surround. So just a shame that Hellraiser's units were that far out of position. But everything leading up to that point was already not totally going his way.
Yeah, and great job, I mean, from Gerald to capitalize as well, right? Because he sees the units out of position, he instantly blinks on forward to look for the shield batteries and finds them. So good job from him, forcing the mistake out of Hellraiser, and that's going to give him the lead here.
Yeah, very solid game, and he was even going for Robo Bay as well while he made that push. So not just going up to 4 bases, spending some resources on cannons just in case the Dark Templars would show up a little bit quicker than he expected them. He was going to be ready for that too. And then even if he wouldn't have a phenomenal fight then, he wouldn't be able to end the game, he can already start building those disruptors. And when it comes to European PvP and disruptor control, I don't want to say that he's the best, but he's definitely up there. He has a lot of experience walking around with those bad boys. And when it comes to like scrappy Zealot Stalker games, I believe Hellraiser can absolutely get the best of Gerald. But when it comes to you got disruptors, I got disruptors, we look at each other, I think Gerald has a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Gerald was one of the first players, I think, in Europe to adopt the Disruptor and really like lean heavily on those. And Hellraiser, I mean, he already showed us like a little bit of his flair, right? Like he's gonna go for the mind games. He's a very intelligent player, and I think he showed that with the fake cannon rush. But that's probably not gonna work again. So we'll see if he has a trick up his sleeve for this one. If he makes the game chaotic, if he makes it difficult for Gerald to grasp, I think that's where he can thrive. We'll see if he's able to. Spawning in the bottom left-hand side. Once again, it is the Polish Batman, Gerald.
And in the top right side of 2K Atmosphere, we're looking at the main base of our Blue Protoss. He's down 0-1, hailing from Ukraine. It is Hellraiser. It was kind of funny how the Stalkers were a bit out of position, but in a weird way that was perfect for Gerald, right? Because that gave Hellraiser the idea. It was a good moment to send the 2 Oracles into that mineral line. And before he could even activate Pulsar Beam, bam, 5 Stalkers blink. A little bit unfortunate. Sometimes they are truly not there. Sometimes, of course, you set it up as a bait, but I don't think this was really on purpose by Gerald. It was just the Stalkers were out of vision of the Oracles, and Hellraiser thought he saw an opening. Gerald punished him for it immediately. Seems like Elaser picked up his first W in Group A. Those things happening over at ESL_SC2B as he took out a Soul Spirit 2-0. I think it's fantastic that Soul Spirit is in the DreamHack Masters, because now whenever I cast him, people finally won't ask why Soul or Spirit is playing Zerg today.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I'd love to see them face each other in DreamHack Masters. Yeah. That would be a tongue twister and a half.
That's the Spider-Man meme, you know, where they point at each other. It's like Soul, Spirit. You know, the 2 Spider-Mans in a costume, and they have the...
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's great.
Alrighty, so both players opening with the double gate here, I believe. And yeah, pretty standard stuff. Double Stalker on one side. However, on the side of Gerald, and I would have thought that if you told me the units, I would have actually guessed wrong here and said Hellraiser is probably going for the Adept. But it's gonna be Gerald.
And now I really wonder what the follow-up is, because I don't want to say most of the time, but quite often when they go 2 Adepts, they go 4 Adepts. And if they go 4 Adepts, they go 6 Adepts and even 8 Adepts. And that's kind of a crazy way to play, but those units, they dance pretty funny with each other. It's Stargate, by the way, on both sides. All right, Gerald, what is it going to be now? He's just going to stick with the 2 Adepts, and he's going to go into Stalkers from here on out. Now, when it's Stargate against Stargate, of course, if you get Phoenixes against an Oracle, that's great, as long as you don't find the Oracle by the time it's in your main base, because in this day and age, it actually takes a very long time for one Phoenix to kill an Oracle, ever since they changed the armor of Oracles. But it's funny. It's very different. Not something that we see in most of the high-level PvPs here.
Yeah, and Hellraiser will spot those Adepts, so should have plenty of time to wall off. And now chases or gives chase with the Stalkers. Actually, the Shade's going to continue on forward. A recall might be necessary now to save those guys.
No, I think he's okay. He might take a few more shots, but the second shade, because the Stalkers chased out that far, they won't. Oh, okay, that's a really bad shade. Where did he try to shade back into the main base again? Is that what happened?
He did, yeah.
Ah, okay. I thought he would just go for the safety shade, like very far away. No, that adept, can it actually? Nope, it does not get in. Did it see the Stargate? I highly doubt it. No, it didn't. So, all right, good job by Hellraiser. Gerald does not know that he's going up against an Oracle. And I'll be honest, if I see 4 Stalkers that quickly, I don't really worry about an Oracle all that much. So I feel like there is some potential, but then we look at the main base of Gerald, and he already has a battery. And I'm like, all right, maybe I'm a donkey, guys.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense for Gerald, I guess, to go into the fast target given the adept opening. But like you said, it's not completely obvious off of the Stalker opening on the side of
Oh, no. Hellraiser with his Oracle didn't see the Stargate of Gerald. So right when the Stalkers move away from the main base, that Oracle of Gerald shows up. And this is absolutely a disaster. 5 workers go down, make it 6, maybe even 7 if we get unlucky.
Massive.
Yeah, so much lost mining
that was
time
a
as well.
huge stasis trap, however, on the other side of things. So without that, this would be a complete disaster. With that, it's still pretty bad. I mean, 6 workers going down, especially because there was that adept opening. You have to anticipate that costs 50 less gas than your Stalker opening. So where is that gas going? And it's very often going to be a target if there's not a heavy adept follow-up like you were proposing.
Yeah, definitely a lot of lost mining time on the side of Gerald as well. I didn't even see that stasis. I was too focused on the Oracle on the other side of the map. So that's a big one, and that will absolutely give Hellraiser some momentum. And he does have quicker blink. I also believe that Gerald, by the way, but correct me if I'm wrong, had a robo on the way. And then I think he canceled the robo, and he rebuilt a Twilight Council instead. I'm pretty sure there was a robo above the Nexus, because I saw a building being cancelled with gas. That's kind of funny too. He went Stargate, Robo, then canceled the Robo, goes Twilight.
Yeah, props to Hellraiser as well. I'm actually very surprised that the worker count is even here, given the start of the game.
2 adepts.
6 workers went down on his side, but it's still even. Those 2 adepts will shade on, and we'll pick off a couple more workers here.
Oh, the Oracle shows up as
nice.
Well. Yeah.
Nice 1-2 punch again.
Yep, and good positioning too on that Oracle, like making sure that it stays away from the Stalkers. I feel that Gerald is playing so mighty fine PvP, and Hellraiser is hanging in there, and there's definitely hope in this game. He does have a Stalker lead, doesn't he? Yeah, he's got a big Stalker lead. So if Gerald goes up to 3 bases now, he's going to have a pretty tough time dealing with these 12 Blink Stalkers of Hellraiser.
All right, let's see if Hellraiser can make some magic happen here. Raise some hell indeed. There is a shield battery that's well tucked in. So we'll see if that's enough for the defense for Gerald, as Hellraiser behind this takes a faster third than Gerald. So again, strategically, I think that Hellraiser is playing a very good game.
He's
Tactically, I think Gerald's getting the better of him. There is the blink, but there's also the battery overcharge. We'll see what happens on the other side. Gerald will attempt and get a successful, I believe, stasis ward. It's huge.
Yeah.
All but 3 probes.
Yep, that is very big indeed. 13 probes not mining for a little while. I think Hellraiser could have even had a better trade there, because the battery overcharge is great, but it's not great enough to out DPS 12 Stalkers shooting at once. But I think Hellraiser was afraid that Gerald would have blink too, so he didn't want to overcommit. But if he would have gone just a little bit closer, he would have actually been able to one-shot 3, 4, or 5 Stalkers very quickly, and maybe it could snowball and he could straight away run away with this game.
Yeah, maybe so. That was 11 Stalkers that he went with. Like, is that enough? That should be enough, right? Barely enough to one shot.
Yeah, definitely enough. If he's close, that is definitely enough.
Ooh. All right. Well, Gerald is going to be one-shotting a Stalker on the way out, as Hellraiser has to retreat. He did get the faster third. It's a shame that during all that he wasn't able to break through, and also 2 massive stasis traps.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The one in the natural was big. The one in the main base, potentially even bigger. Has seemed like it was 12 or 13 workers again. Gerald definitely dodging a bullet there, because it looked a little bit dicey. Investing in all those adepts is cool, you know. I mean, you kill a couple workers, it's nice, but suddenly you find yourself with only 6 Stalkers and you don't have blink. Your opponent's got 12 Stalkers and they do have blink. Games could very well end there, but Gerald able to hang in there, and during all of that, landing phenomenal stasis traps will mean that he's absolutely still, I think, in the lead. But he's down a couple workers, just has a bigger army at this point.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if we look at the game, punch for punch, Gerald has thrown in most of the punches and have landed right in the face of Hellraiser. Hellraiser has played a good game again strategically, like the big picture type stuff has gone in his favor, but this is not going too well for Gerald. Actually, we'll look to retreat as another stasis ward is huge in the main.
Yep, and there is also a Phoenix chasing the Oracle of Hellraiser in the bottom side of the map. Seems like Hellraiser was not paying attention for a little while. Could have dropped a stasis trap at least, or maybe even recall that bad boy. Gerald is just getting better little trades across the board, and not the one game-ending victory, but it's, like you say, a jab here, a jab there. He's jabbing his way to victory if this was a boxing match.
Most definitely. I'm actually surprised that the supply doesn't favor him even more so, or that this game looks even at all, because again, if you were to play a highlight reel of this game, it would be all Gerald so far.
Yeah, I know. Hellraiser very tough. Even if you take a look at the units that have gone down in this game, 17 probes have fallen on the side of Hellraiser. One worker has fallen on the side of Gerald. Sure, Hellraiser did land a very big stasis early on that is more impactful than big stasis traps later on. As we're going to try to drop another one, but this time around Hellraiser is ready for it. But yeah, I feel I'm definitely with you that Gerald should be further ahead than what he is, but I still think he is ahead.
Oh, I did love that income graph as well, because it shows the recent impact of the stasis wards. So that income graph that just popped on our screen, really cool. There it is again. And yeah, I mean, like you said, the earlier stasis wards have more of an impact in the game, but there have been a lot of stasis wards landed now for Gerald.
Yep. Hellraiser did drop a Robo Bay, and he's actually quicker with the Robo Bay than Gerald is. I assume it's for disruptors. It'd be very crazy to play Colossus here. I wouldn't hate it, because as long as your opponent doesn't have any disruptors, Colossus are actually very good. But most of the time, by the time you have enough Colossus and Turbulence, they will have disruptors too. So going straight into disruptors makes a lot more sense. Hellraiser is confident in this fight, blinks forward, and he's not wrong.
Yeah, actually traps a lot of Zealots that were on move command trying to retreat with that blink, so that was a pretty cool move. And still, I mean, this game looks pretty even, as the Oracle of Gerald is kind of finally gonna fall to those two stalkers guarding the main and natural base of Hellraiser. So Gerald posturing to threaten here, continue to threaten, as he has the Watchtower to give him a heads up should Hellraiser move out.
The one big advantage we could say that Gerald has is that he's got a Templar Archive. So he can make a couple of Archons. Archons are incredibly good in these big A-movie fights that we often have, but they fall off if the Disruptor count goes up. And Hellraiser already has one. Should always be able to land a decent Nova. The moment he's got two Disruptors, I actually kind of feel that the era of the Archon is already a little bit over, especially if you get up to 4 or 5. But we'll see. Whoa, no cancel there. That's a straight-up kill on the side of Gerald. That's very big.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Hellraiser is actually fighting, but I guess if he's fighting near the choke and the Zealots overcommit, he can shield himself with the Disruptors, but the one single Phoenix of Gerald actually pulls the Disruptor up into the air, and that's gonna be enough for him to take that fight confidently now.
Yeah, that was a very cool little one become. We had one Phoenix. He didn't make that Phoenix to deal with the Disruptor. He made it to deal with that Oracle, but obviously it could still come in very handy if the Disruptor count is low. Hellraiser had an upgrade advantage there, but felt indecisive, didn't want to fire, and even after he killed the Phoenix, he waited a long time to fire his one Purification Nova. Now Gerald is just kind of chilling and running away with this, while he's on 4 bases and Hellraiser is stuck on 3.
Yeah, and fair enough, I guess, not to fire the Purification Nova, because he's so behind. He probably knows it, right? So his 4th falls, he doesn't cancel it, he just wants to bait Zealots forward, and if there's an engagement, then he can break the engagement with a Purification Nova. So I don't think he was accounting for that Phoenix coming in clutch like it did. And now Gerald just has to sit back and take advantage of the fact that he has a 4th. He's gonna go and harass with Zealots on the other side. There's a sandwich in the main fight. The next 4th base of Hellraiser also under threat at the same time, and that's why those Zealots are not moving on the main screen.
Wow.
Then Hellraiser does deal with the attack, however, and will retreat onto the safety of the shield battery and the cannon. So a hold.
Yeah, Gerald ran very far away with all the Stalkers, and that's the same thing that we mentioned earlier in the DNS hold against Sarua the 3rd. That one was okay, didn't connect with any Stalkers, but now all the Zealots and that one Archon just kind of died before the Stalkers really participated in the fight again, as we do have a Warping in the main base and a big Stalker battle happening over here. Supply still kind of close. Hellraiser doing pretty decent overall, but can we hold on in the main? The main base looks all right as well, and he saves the Robo, saves the Forge. Wow, well done. That's sick.
That is actually insane, and he has taken the supply advantage while securing his 4th base. So for the first time in the whole game, I feel like Hellraiser has stabilized in a position where maybe he's ahead. It's still the problem of the disruptors, though. He's looking to solve with Phoenix.
He's got 3 disruptors, Hellraiser, and Gerald is going into his own disruptors. Gerald does have one big advantage, and that's that he is double Robo. So he's able to produce 2 of those bad boys at once. Hellraiser is just going to stay with 1, drops the Fleet Beacon, drops the Stargate. So I guess we're going to try to stabilize on a lower disruptor count, get a couple Phoenixes out, and then maybe go into carriers?
Maybe so. And this Phoenix, again, he was made to deal with the War Prism. Might come in handy, however, against the disruptors in those wars, as there's a big position here given by Hellraiser. A lot of room for Gerald to move on forward and siege. Novas are gonna connect nasty connections onto the Zealots. All 3 Novas are utilized, so maybe there's an opportunity for Hellraiser to collapse onto this army right now and punish it. But yeah, I mean, the window is closing.
That Observer is godlike, man. It's giving it. No! The double, triple kill. 1 Nova kills 3 disruptors there. Man, vision is everything at the highest level, is something we often say. And that 1 Observer here, absolute MVP for Gerald. It will be remembered, even if it just got picked off. That's insane. First, it allows the Novas to get decent, or the Disruptors to get decent Novas on the Zealots. And then it allowed that even bigger Nova on all the Disruptors. That's a good shot by Hellraiser, though. Very nice one there.
That is absolutely massive. My game has been a little bit sloppy, so I'm glad you picked up the slack there with the yelling. I woke up to it, basically. And now there's a big run by here on the 3rd, as Gerald is going to flood it with Zealots. He still has a lot of Disruptors, but mostly on cooldown, and that means there's a blink forward for Hellraiser to look and punish, but the nice readjustment from that Disruptor shot clips onto a good chunk of Stalkers, and that's going to